So here's the thing. Putin thought Ukraine would be a cakewalk. He was wrong. We thought this war would end. We too were wrong. It is day 6. Ukraine is still being bombed, shelled and hit by missiles. And all that the world has to offer is a limbo. Take the United Nations, for example. It is meeting every day, every single day. Statements are being delivered every day. But to what end? If the failure to make advances has frustrated Russia, the collective failure to stop this war seems to have frustrated Ukraine. This is what their ambassador told the United Nations.
If Ukraine does not survive, the United Nations will not survive. Have no illusions. If you want to just visualize the magnitude of the tragedy, you have to imagine next to you, next to every nameplate of every single country in this General Assembly, more than 30 souls of killed Russian soldiers already. Next to every name of every single country in this assembly. 30 plus killed Russian soldiers. Hundreds of killed Ukrainians. Dozens of killed children. And it goes on and on and on.
The second soundbite you heard was from a special session of the United Nations General Assembly. More than 100 countries are attending this emergency meeting, and at least 100 are expected to speak. The idea is to pass a resolution to ask Russia to withdraw its troops. So far, the United Nations has been successful. When Russia attacked Ukraine, a draft resolution was proposed at the Security Council. The idea was to end the invasion. Russia blocked it. Then a Human Rights Council meeting was called. The idea was to address the human rights violations. Russia attended the session and dismissed the concerns. And now a special session of the UNGA, United Nations General Assembly, has been called. On day 1, Ukraine's ambassador appealed to the Assembly's emotions. Focus on the loss of lives on both sides. The ambassador read out a text message. It was written by a Russian soldier to his mother just moments before his death.
Не на учениях.
Alyosha, how are you doing? Why has it been so long since you responded? Are you really in training exercises? Asks the mother of a soldier moments before he was killed. Mama, I'm no longer in Crimea. I'm not in training sessions. Where are you then? Papa is asking whether I can send you a parcel. What kind of a parcel, Mama? Can you send me? What are you talking about? What happened? Mama, I'm in Ukraine. There is a real war raging here. I'm afraid. They are bombing all of the cities together, even targeting civilians. We were told that they would welcome us, and they are falling under our armored vehicles, throwing themselves under the wheels, and not even allowing us to pass. They call us fascists. Mama, this is so hard.
Mama, мне очень тяжело. In several moments he was killed.
Earlier this evening, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the European Union Parliament. He asked European leaders to prove that they were indeed standing with Kiev.
We have proven our strength. We have proven that, as at a minimum, we are exactly the same as you are. So do prove that you are with us. Do prove that you will not let us go. Do prove that you indeed are Europeans.
He got a standing ovation for that speech. But will he get the EU membership? Zelensky has signed the papers to join the European Union. The road to the bloc is a long one. There are multiple criteria, numerous formalities. Croatia, for example, took 10 years. 10 years to join the EU. Ukraine wants a fast-track entry. Why? Because joining the European Union could help Ukraine militarily. EU nation states will be bound by the Mutual Defense Clause to help Ukraine. Currently, its cities are being bombed. Civilians are dying. Foreign nationals are dying. The people of Ukraine are putting up an unbelievably strong front. But for how long? A resolution is the need of the hour, and it is the job of the United Nations to deliver one. So far, the world body has only delivered statements, and I see no point in playing them out for you. Instead, let's look at what's happening in Ukraine. Russia has bombed Kharkiv. 4 people died when they'd stepped out to fetch water. A family with 3 children was burnt alive in their car. Several others have lost their lives. Ukraine is calling for a ceasefire. Kiev recently held talks with Moscow. The two sides met on the border. Ukraine called for a ceasefire and the withdrawal of Russian troops. Russia did not comment. What does the Kremlin want? Putin laid out his terms to French President Emmanuel Macron. He demanded the demilitarization of Ukraine. He also wants the West to recognize Crimea's sovereignty. It's a tall ask. Coming back to the border talks, there was no breakthrough. The only thing the two sides could agree on was to continue talking. Reports say the second round of talks will be held on the 2nd of March. But here's the irony. While the first round of talks was underway, Russia continued shelling Kharkiv. The Kremlin spoke with its actions. It sounded like this. Russia was not interested in a ceasefire. But the Kremlin will be helping itself by declaring one. It is suffering losses in all possible forms. The Russian ruble is tanking. With every fresh attack, NATO and its allies are heaping fresh economic sanctions on Russia. We will get to the details in a bit. For now, you must know this. The Russian ruble has hit a record low. Currently, 1 ruble is worth less than a cent, $0.0099 to be exact. A pretty complicated number there, but here's what it implies. Very soon, the people of Russia will be paying out of their pockets for their president's decision to go to war. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.